My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now.
Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramer. Other people make friends. I'm just trying to make you some money. My job is not just to entertain you, but to educate and teach you. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. Pent-up demand. Get used to hearing that term because it's going to define the very next leg of this just impossible to believe bull market. And it helped us rebound today. Dow ultimately gaining 60 points, S&P rising 0.18%, Nasdaq dipping 0.05%. Now, we've been given so many reasons to buy stocks during this pandemic. Think about it. First, there was the $2 trillion stimulus package that sent Americans a $1,200 check, along with $600 per week, and expanded unemployment insurance if you lost your job. Then there was the essential store bull market, where the government anointed a bunch of strong national chains like Home Depot, Walmart, Target, Lowe's, and Costco to stay open no matter what, close a bunch of others, of course with Amazon. Then we realized all sorts of companies would actually make more money under COVID than without it, like the cloud software plays that enable remote work, the cloud security plays. This virus pushed through multiple years worth of digitization into a matter of months. Meanwhile, the stay-at-home economy triggered a tsunami of home buying and renovation. If you have to do everything from your house, well, you might as well live somewhere nice and spacious, where you can turn empty rooms into offices or gyms or entertainment centers, schools. Look, the whole family's stuck inside. I mean, you couldn't skate by with one consumer anymore. You needed one per person. And to make the experience more bearable, you could get a Sonos speaker system, Peloton exercycle, or a zillion video games, or whatever gadget you needed to stream online video content directly to your TV. Speaking of the TV, good time to upgrade that too. Then there was the used car bull market, part of the same trend, because you need a car to get around when you move from the city to the suburbs or the rest of maybe out in the country. The whole used car complex roared, everything from Lithium Motors to AutoNation to the ones guys we had on last night, Carvana. The booming used car market then bled down to the actual automakers, with Ford and GM seeing their first upcycle in ages. Their stocks are electric. Oh, speaking of electric, the whole EV space has been white hot, at least until a few days ago. Then China turned the corner, they beat the virus, and their economy came roaring back. Suddenly we got big orders for agriculture, elevators, sneakers, cell phones, even Starbucks lattes, not to mention all sorts of capital goods like engines from Cummins or machinery from Caterpillar. Don't forget the commodities. Here goes Freeport. China has a voracious appetite for copper and, of course, for oil, which is why they've been able to rebound. Finally, a few weeks ago, we started seeing some phenomenal clinical trial results for a series of vaccines. It's not just Moderna and Pfizer. You got all sorts of life sciences companies that are tied to the pandemic, like Illumina, Thermo Fisher raised numbers last night, swab companies, testing companies, you name it. And now, well, today the United Kingdom approved Pfizer's vaccine. Once they start passing out jabs, which is what the Brits call shots, you are about to get a lot of, yes, the next bull market, pent-up demand. Once we get closer to herd immunity, everything that got put on hold, everything during the pandemic, can make a comeback. Let me give you some examples of where to go and what you're going to see. Exhibit A is Boeing. Yes, the 737 MAX is back. It's back in air, although I think it's time to revert to just calling it the 737. There's a tremendous amount of pent-up demand for travel. So when we finally beat this thing, the airlines will be clamoring for new planes. I already see some large orders coming from Ryanair, maybe 75 planes, according to the Irish papers. That's going to send the stock higher, as will every single order that you get. I own this for my travel trust. I think Boeing is still the number one way to play pent-up demands. Can you imagine, after being cooped up for the better part of the year, suddenly the whole world will be able to go somewhere again? And what do you think that does to the stock of United Airlines or American, which recently did a secondary offering that everyone cleaned up on? How high will it propel Wynn Resorts or Las Vegas Sands, especially when Macau hits its stride? Don't forget, it's going to be big in Vegas again. The most obvious place to go once you get vaccinated? Of course, you go to Disney World. With this British vaccine approval, I wonder if Americans have started booking rooms at Disney World, and even the closed Disneyland, I'm sure they have, got to act fast. As for the cruise lines, the buyers can't wait for those stocks. I mean, it's incredible. They have endless tiny rallies on any good news. And now they're even rallying on bad news. You want pent-up demand? Look at the stock of Norwegian Cruise Lines. They just told you today that they're canceling everything they had scheduled for January and February. The stock went up anyway. Travel agency stocks, oh, wow, roaring for the same reason. That strength's trickling down to Alphabet as Google makes a fortune from travel ads. The stock has been a horse, and yet it's still behind the rest of the group. I would buy the stock of Alphabet. Pent-up demand's also behind the next leg of the oil rally. Remember, you do have my blessing once again to buy the stocks of Chevron or Pioneer. Those are the best. They'll run ahead of the commodity because they've stopped spending so aggressively. Now that Exxon has preserved its dividend, you can sense a temporary bottom building, right? And I don't like them for the long term, except for Pioneer and Chevron. Even if the Biden administration comes after fossil fuels, anything that keeps these companies from drilling will ultimately benefit their bottom line. Even the pathetic banks are doing better. They all trade together, so pick one and don't sweat the program unless you're riffed ideas. Then may I suggest that you buy American Express because it's the official pent-up demand play of the financial sector. Pent-up demand is great news for Wall Street, but maybe not so great for Main Street. Why? Because so many small businesses won't be able to make it to the promised land. And when they go under and millions of people could lose their jobs, well, it's not going to really coincide with pent-up demand. Right now, the COVID numbers are exploding. Yesterday, we had the second worst daily death toll of the entire pandemic. Lots of businesses will have to close, even if we don't go back into full lockdown. However, even when you're closed, you still need to pay your bills, and it's hard to make rent when you have no revenue. Roughly 14 million jobs are on the line here, yet Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell just shot down the best hope for a bipartisan stimulus compromise. Now, I don't really know what Senator McConnell's game is, but I can tell you he has effectively given Walmart, Costco, Home Depot, and even Amazon a huge boost because tons of their competitors will go under without another relief package. Maybe he's one of those shop big guys. I always see the shop small ads. Even that's discouraging news on the stimulus front. It can't stop Kohl's, which is coming back. Macy's, I still like the Five Below. Again, they're going to be the last man standing when the smaller rivals go bankrupt. The senator's standing in the way of a substantial, I'd say, opportunity for everybody else who's been left behind to get out of the food lines. Hey, by the way, Darden wins, Brinker wins, Chipotle, because those are the restaurant chains that are going to be able to survive. They can survive because they have scale, regardless of what happens in Washington. We see this playing out all over the place. Hotels, that's Marriott. They'll survive the current onslaught. The great news about the pent-up demand rally, while these stocks have been creeping up, I now expect them to explode higher as the analysts are forced to raise numbers. Do you know how many times you're going to hear raise numbers Boeing in the next 6 months? Raise numbers, Boeing. Raise numbers, Boeing. Raise numbers, Boeing. And every time it happens, well, you know what'll happen. Look, the market's been going up for ages. We're due for a pullback. Maybe lots of stocks that needs to be sold to welcome Tesla to the S&P 500, whatever. But the bottom line, these pent-up demand groups, well, they can have a lot more upside now that the vaccine's right around the corner. You know something? I wish I could go to London next week, get myself jabbed. Just like that. Jab me.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @JimCramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.